Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. We're thrilled to present to you our video dedicated to Honeywell Gent. Enjoy. Honeywell Gent, formerly Gents of Leicester, is a British manufacturer of life safety equipment based in Leicester, England. Established by John Thomas Gent, the company is thought to have started in 1872, however it could have been trading as early as the Rs. The company had a workforce of several hundred at its height. For over a century, the company was a well-known manufacturer of electrical equipment, in particular its electric clocks, which were used in public buildings and railway stations all over the world. Since the late 20th century, the company's primary focus has been fire detection and alarm systems. As we venture forward, let's examine early years in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. During the early years of the company, John T. Gent and Company manufactured both electric and pneumatic bells and other indicating equipment. By 1888, the company had a sizable catalogue of electrical and mechanical products as well as products intended for the generation and storage of electricity. Gent also manufactured cables, however this would be brought to an end in 1914. Prepare yourself for an eye-opening discussion on early 20th century in the upcoming portion of this video. In 1914, the Midland Electric Wire Manufacturing Company ceased trading, bringing an end to the manufacturing of cables at the Faraday Works factory on Street Saviours Road. The reclaimed factory space was used to further grow the business. Either Rs. Gent were manufacturing bells, clocks, power supplies, fire alarm systems, telephones, and signaling and recording equipment. The company also produced sirens as well as electrical parts for aircraft communications and radar equipment. Trading as Gents of Leicester by the Rs, the company owned showrooms to demonstrate its products. Now it's time to shift gears and explore mid to late 20th century. Some of Gent's most recognizable products were produced during the mid to late 20th century. The company continued making electric bells and, trading as Chloride Gent following the acquisition, released the Chloride Gent Warbler, one of the first electronic fire alarm sounders. The warblers were extremely loud and were used in many schools across the United Kingdom. The original warbler has three selectable tones: warble, continuous and intermittent. It had adjustable pitch and speed dials. Later models such as the Model 3500 warbler were considerably quieter, lacked speed and pitch controls, and included an additional tone, the sweep tone. Due to the success of the warblers, other companies started manufacturing similar electronic sounders such as Protex. In recent years, the warblers have become valuable collector's items due to their increasing scarcity. Chloride Gent's other popular products included the Model 1102 manual call point, which could be fitted with an optional hammer attached to a chain. Model 1102 call points could be used on AC or DC fire alarm systems. Gent continued making sirens such as the Model 1500, often used in large open areas or industrial spaces. The Model 1500 sounded very similar to air raid sirens. Following the acquisition by the MK Electric Group, Gent, now Gent Limited, continued producing life safety equipment. The Rs saw the introduction of new electronic sounders, the Model 2511 and 2510, which were manufactured until 2003. The company also introduced the 1195 manual call point, distinguishable by its square design as opposed to the rectangular design of the Model 1102. Model 2500 Gent Warbler. Later Model 2500 Chloride Gent Warbler, complete with instruction manual and box. Chloride Gent Warbler. Chloride Gent Warbler, original fire alarm sounder, dating from 1980, at a secondary school in Derbyshire. Chloride Gent 1102 manual call point. Model 1102 manual call point, dating from 1980. Just before removal from a secondary school in Derbyshire. Gent 1102 manual call point. Later Model Gent 1102 complete with box. Installation instructions were printed on the inside of the box. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of System 3400 and the 3217 protocol. The current Gent addressable protocol, called the Gent 3217 protocol, started with the launch of the System 3400 fire alarm system in 1985. The panel was one of the first addressable fire alarm systems ever created and was revolutionary compared to the simplistic conventional fire alarm systems that preceded it. Both power and data could be carried across two conductors. System 3400 was available with both 4 and 8 loop panels, the 3404 and 3408 respectively. It was not until 1987 that loop-powered sounders would be available for System 3400, partly due to the difficulties in reducing their power consumption so as to not to affect loop communication. These sounders, the 3422 and commonly referred to as horn styles, were available in both two-way and three-way models and with grey and white horn parts, with three-way models having an additional pair of terminals for spurring off the addressable loop. Model 3421 bass sounders were also available but were not as popular as the wall-mounted ERs. System 3400 used microps similar to the Model 1195, however they were fitted with an addressable module and had the model number 3480. 3471 optical heat, 3472 heat, and 3473 initiation detectors were all available and could be fitted to a 3472-way or three-way base. A range of interfaces for connection to external equipment were also available. The Gent 3217 protocol supports multiple spurs and a mesh-like configuration, although this was not utilized in the final product. The protocol is a simple implementation of asynchronous serial, with each frame having a start bit of 0, 8 bits of data, an odd parity bit, and finally a stop bit of 1. For panel-to-device communication, a voltage of IV is used to represent a logic 0, with logic 1 being represented by the normal loop operation voltage. Device-to-panel communication uses current pulses, as is typical with most addressable fire systems. Now, let's redirect our focus towards System 3300 and discover its significance in our narrative. System 3300 was a cut-down version of System 3400, marketed as a cheaper option for installers and businesses. It used the same 3217 protocol as System 3400 but was limited to 2 loops. Devices were similar to those of System 3400, however had more visible System 3300 branding. 3320 sounders had a white horn section instead of the more common grey style of ERs. System 3300 was sold as Senator under the SMS brand. Devices did not include the Senator branding, although the panel included the Senator logo. A revised version of System 3300 was released, called System 3302. System 3302 used a panel design similar to Systems 32020 control panels. In this section, we'll be deep diving into System 2400, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. System 2400 was an even more simplistic addressable system, limited to the one loop. It was also marketed as a cheaper option for installers and businesses and was a potential upgrade path for customers with conventional systems who wanted the advantages of addressable systems. System 2400 used conventional detectors fitted to Model 2420 addressable bases which were connected to zone modules on the addressable loop. A maximum of 16 zone modules could be connected to the loop. Compatible detectors included the 7630 initiation detector, 7640 optical detector, 7650 fixed temperature heat detector, 7660 rate of rise heat detector, and 7011 beam detector. SMS 72341 detector with SMS at addressable base of SMS equivalent of a System 2400 detector and addressable base. Gent System 2400 Control Panel Model 2401 seen with a repeater panel. Gent System 2400 Control Panel Model 2401 seen with a repeater panel. In this chapter, we'll be shedding light on System 34000 and its role in shaping our understanding. 1995 saw the release of a new range of devices and panels. Following the acquisition by Honeywell, Gent released the 34000 series of devices for sale with both System 3400 and System 34000. These devices were much more compact and had a more modern design. Model codes were relatively similar, with most just having a 0 appended to their 3400 equivalent, e.g. the 3480 MCP became the 34800. Others such as the February 3rd 3420 loop-powered sounder became the 34000. Aeromax can be identified by their red lever mechanism, which supports the brake glass element as opposed to the back mechanism of 3400 era devices. This generation also introduced a control panel design that would stay around until the 2017 release of the Gent Vigilant Plus. The 34000 series was marketed as a more advanced system with the ability for more loops and some more features that the 32000 panel didn't have. In 2019, Gent announced that they were officially discontinuing the 34000 device range, citing problems with part availability. To help upgrade unsupported systems, Gent released the 34000 S-Quad adapter base 700 chip, allowing S-Quad detectors to be installed onto Vigilant systems running 34000 loops quickly and easily, without having to replace the 34700 detector bases. The S-Quad adapter base is not compatible with the 19279 one semi-flush mounting kit or the 19279 10 sensor trim ring. If either of these trim rings are used, the 34000 base must be removed, the ceiling repaired or replaced, and a regular 700 base or an FLUSH base installed. The S-Quad adapter base is also not supported for use with 34000 or older panels, citing compatibility only with Vigilant and Vigilant Plus. While these devices may work with these older panels, using them on these panels, especially with the S-Quad adapter base, is unsupported and issues can arise, especially with voice sounder models. One of the devices released in the 34000 range was the 34770 optical heat sounder, optical smoke and heat sensor with integrated sounder. Moving on to the next segment, we have System 32000. Released in 1996, System 32000 replaced System 3300 and saw a brand new panel design as well as devices similar to those in the 34000 range. Like System 3300, it was a cut-down, cheaper option and was limited to 2 loops. System 32000 devices had a similar appearance to System 34000 devices, but model numbers began with 32 instead of 34. Some devices had slightly changed model numbers to their 34000 equivalents, such as the 32775 optical heat sensor sounder, whose System 34000 equivalent was the 34770 optical heat sensor sounder. These devices were the first ever combined sensor sounder to be released by Gent. System 32000 devices are largely compatible with those from System 34000, as these systems share the same Gent 3217 protocol. Like System 3000, 300. System 32000 was also sold under the SMS brand name as Senator 2. Senator I's panel had a blue color compared to the gray color of the Gent 32020 panel. A Gent 32020 control panel. The Gent 32020 control panel seen flush-mounted SMS Senator SMS Senator II control panel insides of a SMS Senator II control panel. Insides of a SMS Senator II control panel minus the power supply shroud. Brace yourself for an in-depth analysis as we navigate through System 800 and its far-reaching implications. Continuing the hybrid addressable range introduced with System 2400, System 800 brought a new, smaller panel and new devices. System 800 was sold under the SMS brand as the original. It utilized the Gent conventional 17800 detector series mounted on an addressable detector base. As we embark on the next leg of our journey, let's unpack the layers of Vigilant and examine its core elements. In 1997, the Vigilant was released. The original Vigilant features a blue LCD display and was originally released with the System 34000 devices as its device suite. In 1999, the Vigilant was re-released due to the release of a new set of sounders, detectors, and manual call points. This panel still featured a purple display. The panel was marketed with another Haunt-style sounder, the VIGSND, and detectors and call points that were again similar to the 32000 and 34000 devices. The Vigilant system has been sold under the SMS brand as Senator Advance, Sentry TWO Vigilant Compact and Sentry FOUR1 6-loop panel. As Vigilant shares the same Gent 3217 protocol as previous Gent addressable fire alarm systems, it is mostly backwards compatible with 3400, 3300, 34000 and 32000 devices. However, some devices may require the local controller card or loop controller firmware to be upgraded. Around 2001, along with the first generation of S-Cubed sounders. Mark I S-Cubed sounders are officially compatible with the 3000, 400, 3000, 300, 32000, and 34000 panels, but, depending on model, could require a panel firmware upgrade or loop card replacement. Devices were made as replacements for legacy three-way sounders often seen on 3000, 400, and 34000 systems, and these devices are also compatible with Vigilant systems. The strobe was also introduced to allow strobes to be added to existing buildings with older Vigilant, 34000, 32000 or older systems. In the early years, a revision was made to the Vigilant, featuring a green, smaller, 8-line LCD. However, the layout of the LEDs is the same as the previous EN and BS Vigilant systems. In 2005, the Vigilant panel design was updated, and more LEDs to display more faults and issues to the end user. As well as functioning as electronic sounders, S-Cubed devices can feature a voice function and a beacon function, which would later be replaced in 2014 with an in-compliant VAD with the release of the Mark III sounders. In 2005, the S-Quad was released, featuring a beacon, sounder, detector and voice sounder. Early models did not feature the Honeywell logo, however this changed shortly after their acquisition by Honeywell. The S-Quad would be upgraded in 2014 to integrate an in-compliant VAD. It was one of the first devices to no longer officially support the 34000 and older panels, followed by the Mark II and Mark III S-Cubed sounders. However, some models could still function on these older panels. A common problem with Mark II and III and devices on older panels is voice functionality being unpredictable. Older addressable panels lack the functionality to sync voice messages across the loop, and so voice may not work or may play at unpredictable intervals out of sync. Some earlier BS Vigilant panels can be upgraded with the main controller card, allowing them to run S-Quad devices. In 2007, Gent released the 34000, 800 call point range, officially completing the initial S-Quad line. The only devices that are almost fully compatible with the 34,000 and 32,000 systems are the 34,800 call point range. This is likely due to the fact that these call points send the same signal to the panel. The green polling LED on the call point does not work and continuously remains on. The red activation LED does still work normally. In 2017, the Vigilant Plus was released. A minor revision to the panel. It added little functionality, bearing more cosmetic changes than functional changes. However, a new SD card reader was added to our configuration information to be transferred to the Vigilant using the SD card slot. It also changed the layout of the panel, with both changes to the panel controls-wise and the internal design of the panel, along with a new black panel door with a marked Honeywell Gent logo rather than a Vigilant logo sticker. In 2019, Gent released the SAFE, a device and interface system designed to reduce false alarms in residential buildings. Gent also revised the S-Quad and S-Cubed with software. However, there aren't any noticeable difference besides an increased tone hold length and improved quality of voice messages on voice sounders, as the devices are functionally and visually the same as the previous versions released in 2014. All Gent sounders may hold their tone when a silence is issued from the panel. This is done to allow the devices to stop sounding at the same time. In 2019, the length of the tone hold was increased with minor revisions to the S-Quad and S-Cubed range. It isn't known why this decision was made. In 2023, Gent introduced a new range of S-Quad detectors that are able to self-test both the heat and smoke elements of the detector. In applicable devices, the new S-Quad range uses real aerosol smoke to test the optical smoke sensor and ensure that the detector's entry points are not blocked. The detector temporarily disables itself to ensure that the testing process does not cause a system activation and a fire evacuation. These devices are also designed so that if another device, whether it is another S-Quad or a manual call point, is activated on the system, the self-test feature will be disabled and the fire system will return to normal functionality while other devices remain in an activated state. The self-test feature can be used a maximum of 60 times for optical sensors and 100 times for heat sensors, which equates to an expected life of up to 14 years of optical detection self-testing and 20 years of heat detection self-testing, with an expected maximum of 4 self-test and 4 manual tests a year before the detectors need to be replaced. The new range of S-Quads also feature a Bluetooth low-energy beacon, which is used to allow for the S-Quad devices to be managed and maintained from a mobile device using Gent's new Connected Life Safety Services CLSS app, which allows for the detectors to be located, device information, such as device names, zones, and loop mapping to be corrected without using the commissioning tool or the Vigilant panel's front-end controls. In addition to this, the app allows for the fire LED on each sensor to be tested, which is currently a pending requirement of PS1, and for the detector's self-disablement feature to be temporarily disabled so that the self-test feature to activates the sensor, allowing for the cause and effect logic of the Vigilant system to be tested. The app also generates monitoring, testing, and maintenance reports. In addition to the above, the new S-Quad range features a slightly revised design with a new external molding, a new detector smoke chamber design, and a new dual microprocessor PCB. This means that these sensors also feature better, more accurate smoke detection and higher quality voice messages, while remaining compatible with the 700 and SOG 700 detector bases. The new range of S-Quad devices requires the incompliant loop cards to be installed in the Vigilant panel. The new detector range is compatible with older Vigilant, Vigilant Compact, and Nano systems, provided that incompliant loop cards are installed, but only as a detector and audio-visual device, as the self-test and CLSS features are not supported. The self-test feature requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system, with in-compliant loop cards installed, additionally requiring that the main controller board on Vigilant Plus systems, main controller card on Vigilant Compact Plus systems, and the loop cards are updated to the latest firmware. It also requires that the compatible system has a CLSS gateway installed and linked to the system. If multiple Vigilant systems are networked, the CLSS gateway is only required to be installed once per network domain. It appears that the previous Mark II and Mark I's detector range will remain compatible and will be able to be installed on the same loop as the new self-test detectors, meaning that an existing compatible system can have its sensors upgraded to self-test models gradually, without affecting the functionality of the system. However, Gent does not appear to have released a new sensor capable of detecting carbon monoxide, which was available in the previous S-Quad range. However, it is highly likely that the previous Mark II S-Quad detector range, released in 2019, will remain on sale. With our foundation established, it's time to explore Vigilant Compact and its relevance to our overarching theme. In the early years, Gent released the Vigilant Compact, a similar concept to System 32000. Again limited to 2 loops, the system was designed as a cheaper alternative for smaller sites. The Vigilant Compact does not feature a full QWERTY keyboard and requires a different form factor of loop card. The Vigilant Compact shares the same devices as Vigilant. Following the release of the Vigilant Compact around 2006, Gent released the Vigilant Compact Voice, a Vigilant Compact system that also featured an integrated power system. This allowed for an all-in-one solution to be installed, where voice speakers, detection, call points and sounders could all be installed as part of one system. This allowed the building to use a mix of Gents and sounder detectors and voice alarm devices. This was discontinued shortly after the release of the Honeywell voice alarm system. In 2017, the Vigilant Compact Plus was released. This, similar to the Vigilant Plus, does not add any significant changes to the panel design, introducing the SD card reader, a small change to the design of the controls, a full QWERTY keyboard, and the back panel door. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of Nano and discovering its transformative power. In 2009, Gent released the Nano, a small, single-loop panel designed to be a cheaper alternative to full Vigilant or Vigilant Compact. The Nano has a drastically different user interface to both Vigilant panels and requires its own separate commissioning software. Nano uses the same device suite as Vigilant with the exception of the self-test sensors, which require Vigilant or Vigilant Compact systems but has a smaller, more stylish control panel design. Let's now enter the realm of software and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. For many years, Gent has released commissioning software for its analog addressable range of fire alarm control panels. The Vigilant and Vigilant Compact control panels are compatible with the Vigilant commissioning tool, allowing for the configuration of complex cause and effect as well as voice messages for voice-enabled SANS devices. Separate software has been released for other panels such as System 32000, System 800 and the Nano. Mimic panels require their own configuration software separate to the main commissioning software. Honeywell Gent Vigilant Commissioning Tool Web Vigilant Commissioning Tool for use on Gent Vigilant control panels. Honeywell Gent Nano Commissioning Tool Web Nano Commissioning Tool for use on Gent Nano control panels. Gent System 800 Commissioning Tool Web System 800 Commissioning Tool for use on Gent System 800 control panels. Gent System 32000 Commissioning Tool Web System 32000 Commissioning Tool, Labella 32000. Let's now venture into the realm of sounder tones and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. All Gent loop-powered sounders can output 3 different tones, except on older panels, where there is only support for 2 tones, and the Nano, where there is support for 4 tones. These tones can be customized in the commissioning tool, for example, disabling the voice function for a tone, or disabling the strobe or VAD for a tone, and there are limited customization options available from the panel itself. In addition to this, there is an additional bell tone that can be enabled in the commissioning tool on S-Quad and S-Cubed devices that are fitted with a voice sounder. Signal 3 in the 2019 update was changed slightly from "Attention please, this is an emergency, please leave the building by the nearest available exit" to "Attention please, please leave the building by the nearest available exit." There is also an additional tone used individually on sounders to locate them, known as Find Device or Signal 0. The default configuration for sounders on a Vigilant panel are as follows. Signal tone voice message voice sounders only VAD strobe activation VAD strobe devices only bell tone support voice sounders only Signal 0 Find Device intermittent. This is a test message, no action is required. Female voice Signal 1 alert signal intermittent. An incident has been reported in the building, please await further instructions. Female voice Signal 2 fire evacuation alternating. This is a fire alarm. Please leave the building immediately by the nearest available exit. Male voice Signal 3 emergency evacuation continuous. Attention please, please leave the building by the nearest available exit. Female voice. Tones on Gent addressable sounders. The S-Quad and S-Cubed voice sounders are fitted with flash memory chips that store the voice messages, along with the bell tone. The contents of the flash chip are ordered as follows. Message contents corresponding alert Signal message 1 bell tone knob by default can be set up for Signal 1 and 3 message to "Attention please, please leave the building by the nearest available exit." Female voice Signal 3 message 3 an incident has been reported in the building, please await further instructions. Female voice Signal 1 message 4 this is a test message, no action is required. Female voice Signal 0 message 5 this is a fire alarm. Please leave the building immediately by the nearest available exit. Male voice Signal 2. Storage of voice messages on Gent voice sounders. It is possible to have these voice messages rewritten to custom messages, e.g. for example designed for a specific building. In this section, we'll be deep diving into in-compliant loop cards, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. In 2014, after the release of the high-power VID S-Cubed and S-Quad devices, Gent released a more powerful loop card that was capable of taking advantage of the full power of these devices. However, despite using the same Gent 2317 protocol, compatibility with some devices, such as earlier S-Quad sounder detectors and 34000 detectors, is limited, and in some cases, such as with some 3400 and 34000 devices, is not available at all. Power output to newer devices is also limited if older S-Quad, S-Cubed, and 34,000 devices are used on the same loop. In-compliant loop cards are required for S-Quad self-test detectors. A list of compatible devices is available below. Device year of manufacture loop diagnostics in-compliant loop card running at AMA with less than 2 total cable run VIGLPCEN, COMPACTLPCEN in-compliant loop card running at AMA with less than 2 total cable run VIGLPCEN, COMPACTLPCEN in-compliant loop card running at AMA with less than 1 total cable run VIGLPCEN, COMPACTLPCEN legacy loop card running at AMA with less than 1 total cable run VIGLPC, COMPACTLPC sensors S-Quad sensors a present S-Quad self-test sensors a present requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality. Self-test devices require in-compliant loop cards S-Quad sensor sounders S-Quad sensor sounders with fallback function present S-Quad self-test sensor sounders present requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality, requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality, requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality. Self-test devices require in-compliant loop cards, S-quad sensor sounder strobe, S-quad sensor sounders within 23 Wads are present, but runs in compatibility mode at the same power as a standard power VAD. S-quad self-test sensor sounders within 23 Wads are present, requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality, requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality, requires a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus system for full functionality. Self-test devices require in-compliant loop cards, 34,000 sensor sounders, 3,400 sensor sounders, S-cubed Mark III sounders are present, S-cubed Mark III sounders within 23 VAD are present, but runs in compatibility mode at the same power as a standard power VAD. S-cubed Mark II voice, S-cubed Mark II sounder and strobe, 2013 S-cubed Mark I sounder, S-cubed Mark I sounder and strobe, 34,000 sounders, 3,400 sounders, manual call points, S-quad MCP are present, 34,000 MCP, 3,400 MCP interfaces, S-quad mains switching interfaces are present, S-quad mains powered interfaces are present, S-quad loop powered interfaces are present, 34,000 mains powered interface, 34,000 loop powered interface, 3,400 mains powered interface, 3,400 loop powered interface. Panels installed in panel, 32,000 series, 3,300 series, 3,400 series, 34,000 series. Vigilant BS Vigilant for Loop 2000 JOL 2013, as long as master control card is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant 6 Loop 2000 JOL 2013, as long as master control card is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant for Loop August 2013-2017, as long as master control card is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant 6 Loop August 2013-2017, as long as master control card is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant Compact, as long as master control board is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant Compact Voice, as long as master control board is upgraded to firmware or greater. Gent Nano are present. Vigilant Plus for Loop are present, as long as master control card is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant Plus 6 Loop are present, as long as master control card is upgraded to firmware or greater. Vigilant Plus Compact are present, as long as master control board is upgraded to firmware or greater. Devices compatible with the in-compliant loop card. The new loop card software is not available in BS protocol, therefore the new card is not compatible with 3,400 panels and any BS protocol Vigilant or 34,000 export panels. If older devices, such as earlier S-quad and S-cubed sounder and sounder strobe devices are on the loop cannot run in high power mode at IRMA, but these devices can still support a 2 total loop span, whereas older devices, such as the 3,400, 32,000, 34,000 etc. detectors and sounders cannot run on a loop with a total span longer than 1, meaning the loop card operates at the same power rate and maximum distance as the regular, non-incompliant loop card. S-quad self-test devices require an incompliant loop card to be installed, and require a Vigilant Plus or Compact Plus panel for the self-test and CLSS features to work. Let's now turn our attention to conventional fire systems and examine its role within a larger context. Since the late 20th century, Gent has continued to build upon its conventional offering. Conventional products released by Gent include the Xenix control panels, conventional sounders, which were available with voice, and the 17,800 detector range consisting of the 17,830 initiation smoke detector, 17,830 17,840 optical smoke detector, 17,850 fixed rate heat detector, 17,860 rate of rise heat detector, and 17,870 high heat detector. The range was never re-released with an NVIDIA, unlike its counterpart, instead being discontinued. Later Gent conventional systems used KSC call points as well as KSC and skip sounders, replacing the 1195 call point design and range of conventional sounders. In-compliant glass with the white background was also made available to replace the non-compliant transparent design on both conventional and addressable systems. The latest range of conventional detectors is the ES-Detect range, which replaced the previous VISION detectors. The ES-Detect range has a similar appearance to the addressable S-Quad and the same detection technology as the Plexus detector series. Get ready for an enlightening exploration as we dig into Plexus and understand its role in the broader context. During the early 21st century and continued development of Vigilant, Gent released a new range of hybrid wireless products. Plexus used mesh networking technology with a loop-powered transceiver allowing addressable loops to be extended with wireless sensors, sounders, and manual call points. Plexus installs are less common than their wired counterparts, with one notable installation being the entrance to Norwich Station. Gent has discontinued the replacement purchase of Plexus parts. It is unknown as to why, but currently replacing a Plexus device involves either using a used part, new old stock, wiring a new S-Quad or S-Cubed device, or replacing the wireless technology or fire system as a whole. With that being said, let's now move on to Sphere Marketing Services SMS. Sphere Marketing Services SMS. Sphere Marketing Services SMS was established in the years as a subsidiary of Gent. The company sold Gent products under the SMS brand name using different marketing strategies. Today, SMS continues to sell current Gent products via distributors, although the criteria to become a distributor is less strict. Modern SMS products have minor differences to their Gent counterparts, such as devices having their polling LEDs enabled by default, a lack of voice on all sounder devices, and missing Gent Agent by Honeywell branding. As we progress through this video, let's now turn our gaze towards location. Its main design and manufacturing center and headquarters were at the Faraday Works in Temple Road, Leicester, but after World War II, the company expanded into nearby Kibworth. A premises at London Road was also used at this time. In the early years, a new large building was constructed in the Hamilton area of Leicester, and the other buildings were all closed. By February 1991, the company had finished moving to the new premises. In January 2022, Gent moved to new premises in Carlton Park, Leicester. The Waiterside Road premises was closed and put up for sale, and later demolished. In the following section, we'll be immersing ourselves in the captivating world of takeovers. In 1975, Gents of Leicester was taken over by the international organization Chloride, and was known as Chloride Gent. In July 1983, the company was sold by Chloride to the MK Electric Group, becoming Gent Limited. The factory at Kibworth closed, and only a few jobs remained at the Central Leicester Works. In 1993, the company was acquired by Cordonova. In 2005, the company was acquired by Honeywell, and has been known as Gent by Honeywell and, more recently, Honeywell Gent. The company is legally known as Nova Systems Limited, still based in Leicester. The company is now mostly involved with fire detection and alarm systems. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this video.